Hey everybody, this is Angela and you're listening to 5 Picks and a Chick featuring El Gato. This is a show that gives you 5 NFL picks for people who love football and friendly wagering. Well, today we have a special guest, Alma. She's been with us before, but she's not going to be on the recording today, El Gato, but I do have her pick and a couple of her comments. So we'll do her pick last, we'll go over ours, and then we'll get to hers. How about that?
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good. Looking forward to that.
Well, thank you for being with us, listeners. Last week, I went 1-3 with one push or tie. My record for the season is 32 wins, 28 losses, and 5 ties. Now, El Gato, you are coming back. You went with 3 wins, 2 losses. Your record is 32 wins, 29 losses, and 4 ties. So we're still right above 500, so hopefully we can change that, at least for myself, a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we're still picking some competitive games. I know you had that Lions-Saints game while you were at that sports book last week. You know, if the Saints would have shown up mentally and physically, even for half of that first quarter, I think they would have covered.
Yeah, I believe that too.
That's how close these games have been. I mean, they don't show up for half a quarter. They're down 21-0 right from the get-go, and then they finally wake up and start playing football.
I know.
Otherwise it would have been a more really, man. It seemed like they should have won that game.
Yeah.
To tell you the truth. It
was a good game. Too bad, like you said, that they just started playing a little bit too late. But I really thought that they were going to cover for at least for my pick.
Yeah. I mean, and they should have, really, if they would have played from the get-go. And that goes back to say these games are really close in the NFL. And, yeah, we're doing pretty well to be above the 500 mark. So, yeah, good job.
Yeah, and these games are really exciting. It's been some wild games, so.
Hey, how about C.J. Stroud showing out again?
Oh,
man, that guy can play.
That guy can play. He's going to be so good for the Texans. As long as he can stay healthy and as long as he can protect the ball, I think, the Texans are going to be a force to be reckoned with. So,
yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
True.
But my first pick is going to be Atlanta -1 versus Tampa Bay. A win here for Atlanta could start to separate themselves from the rest of the NFC South. They are a top 10 rushing offense, and they are top 10 in total defense. Tampa struggles on the road, where they haven't won since week 4, and they are 2-6 overall since then. Give me Atlanta as a slight home favorite. What are your thoughts on this game, El Gato?
Yeah, I like that game. I like the Falcons at -1. You know, the Falcons did just enough to beat the Jets last week in that miserable weather. You know, of course, the Jets aren't a very good football team right now. And the Bucs, surprisingly, they struggled on the defensive run game last week against really a not very good Carolina team. And with that being said, I'm going to expect the Falcons just to continue pounding the ball until the Bucs can show they can stop it. So I expect a lot of Bijan, short passes from Ritter, to the boundary side and to their tight end. And like you mentioned earlier, they're trying to create some separation. That division is the top 3 teams are separated by only 1 game. So if the Bucs can pull out this win, of course they'll be tied. But I think Falcons are a good spot here at home, -1 with some momentum. You mentioned earlier the Bucs struggling on the road. So yeah, I'll take that one. Falcons -1.
Yeah, I'm a Bijan Robinson fan too, and I think Baker Mayfield has been playing a little bit inconsistent. So, yeah. Go Atlanta Falcons. So my second pick is going to be Detroit -3 at the Bears. These two teams played a few weeks ago when Chicago dominated the game but lost it in an epic collapse. I think Detroit will come in more focused this time and continue their winning ways, keeping their sights on a number 1 seed. What are your thoughts on this game, El Gato?
I think this is going to be a close game. The Lions, they pulled off that game Thanksgiving Day against the Bears. The Bears gave that up there in the fourth quarter, but they have another tough game against the Bears at Chicago. Weather conditions being predicted, maybe snow or freezing rain, winds at 15 to 20 miles per hour. The Lions really don't play very well in the outdoor conditions, especially golf. I read his quarterback rating drops substantially when he plays outdoors, especially in inclement weather. So I know the Lions are at a good spot at -3, but with the weather conditions being predicted as they are, I'm going to go ahead and take the under at 43.5 on this one. I'm going to predict a field position game where maybe each team is going to wait till the other makes a mistake. I don't think maybe each team will be able to hold sustained drives in this weather if it stays as the predicted weather pattern is. So, we'll see. I'm going to take a chance and just take the under at 43.5.
Yeah, I kind of like that, especially with the weather being what it's predicted to be. So, yeah, I kind of like that pick. Do you have a third and fourth pick for us, El Gato?
Yeah, I have a couple of picks. I'm going to go with the Colts at Bengals, and I'm going to go with the under 43.5 on this one. Excuse me, I'm going to go with the over 43.5. Both teams have been scoring the ball. They've been averaging over 42 points the last 4 to 5 games. We saw the Bengals explode offensively the other night against the Jags. The Colts can score quickly. Both teams aren't very elite on the defensive side of the ball. They probably both rank on the lower half defensively on total defense in the league. Certainly not at the top. Weather may be a factor. I don't think it'll be as bad as predicted in the Chicago area. There may be some slight rain, but Browning really showed out the other night. He can really manage an offense and can hit some passes downfield as he showed the other night. So, I think this is going to be a very good offensive showing for both sides. I'm going to take the over the 43.5.
Well, I don't have an opinion on the over-under, so I'm going to go with the Bengals -1. Bengals showed some life last week on Monday night, beating a good Jacksonville squad. Jake Browning played exceptionally well, like you mentioned, and he may be able to keep it going against an Indy team that, they've been squeaking out wins against the weakest of the NFL teams. So I'm going to go with the Bengals -1.
That's a good spot. Yeah, I like that one too.
How about a fourth pick for us?
Well, I've got really a titan of a game here in the Bills at the Chiefs. The Bills are going to be coming off a bye week. The Bills have just really struggled the whole year. I know a lot of people, a lot of analysts say, this is a must-win for the Bills. It seems like we've been all thinking that and saying that the last 3 weeks, the last 3 games they've played. But, if they really can't pull off this win, God, they're just going to be way behind. The Chiefs, on the other hand, they're struggling offensively. They don't look as explosive as we have, as we're accustomed to seeing them maybe the last couple of years for sure. They just struggle offensively, throwing the ball downfield. They don't have really a number one wide receiver. Mahomes can't seem to find one or doesn't have confidence in them. Only one he can really rely on right now is Kelsey. But, the Chiefs, they're going to have to do what they do, and that is maybe run the ball, rely on that a little bit more than the passing game. I think defensively they can hold the Bills, keep them in check. I'm going to take the Chiefs here at -1.5 at home. I think it's going to be a very close game. The analysts have this at -1.5, so they are expecting a close game. Chiefs at home, I'll take that -1.5. I expect the Chiefs to come back from that tough loss at Green Bay the other night.
Yeah, I'm going with you on this one, the Chiefs -1.5. Although the Chiefs have lost 3 out of their last 5, they usually don't lose 2 in a row. They come back home after a 2-game road trip against a Bills team who have only won twice in their last 6 games and who are 1-4 on the road. So even though the Chiefs have been struggling, Mahomes, like you said, I think he's limited as to the wide receivers he has that he can throw to, or at least, like you said, have confidence in, except for Kelsey. Yeah, I like the Chiefs -1.5. That'll be my pick for this one.
Angela, I should have been, but I wasn't aware of that Bills road record. You said they're 2 and what in the last
They are 1-4 on the road, and
that's amazing.
Yeah, and have only won twice in their last 6 games. Can you believe that?
That is hard to believe, considering the team that we all thought they were going to be this year. It's kind of a make it or break it year for them, right? I mean,
yeah.
The last several years they've been close to getting over the hump. Of course, they've had KC to contend with and Cincinnati to contend with, but wow, that's that explains their struggles this year. They can't win.
Yeah, they can't win. Something I don't know. Something is going on with Allen. I just, I can't figure that one out. But I really do believe it is something with Allen and maybe a little bit of their defense, possibly. But something is definitely not right with the Bills. And who would have thought at the beginning of the season we would be talking about the Chiefs and the Bills struggling, right?
No doubt, especially this time of year. You would expect them both to be, with 8 or 9 wins and vying for the number 1 spot. And
dominating.
The Chiefs certainly are still in the hunt.
Oh yeah.
Bills are not.
Yeah. But it's interesting. It'll be a good end to this season to see how it all plays out.
Yeah.
So our guest picker was Alma, and she did send in a pick for us. She is going with Cowboys -3.5 versus the Eagles. She gave me some notes on this, so I'm going to just go off of her notes and let you know what she thinks about this game. She has indicated Dallas is 6-0 at home and really needs this win. After last week's not-so-great win, they will come out guns blazing. So that is her thoughts on this game. What are your thoughts, El Gato?
Well, the Cowboys certainly are 6-0, and certainly they have been impressive these last several games. But, they still haven't beaten a tough team. They've lost to the Eagles. They certainly got whipped by the 49ers. The 49ers whipped the Eagles last week. That game was... It was good for the first quarter, and then it went sideways really quick against the Eagles. But getting back to my point, until the Cowboys can show they can beat a quality team, I'm going to have to go on the other side of that. But I will add to this. I'm going to go the over 51. I'm going to just rely on the Cowboys performing well at home, as Alma indicated, 6-0 at home, putting some points on the board. And I can probably rely on the Eagles putting 3 or 4 touchdowns on the board also. I'm going to expect a high-scoring game on this one, maybe a 30-24, 30-28 game. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, this one was a tough one for me as well. I thought about going with the over because I struggled with who I'm going to pick, the Cowboys -3.5 or the Eagles. I finally decided I'm going to go with the Eagles on this one, and I know that's going to be like, oh my gosh, because I'm a big Cowboy fan. But I'm not talking about heart here. I'm talking about facts and analyzing this game. The Eagles were clearly mentally and physically tired after playing 3 games over a 13-day span against very good competition. Cowboys, like you said, who have they really beat? I think that blowout loss is a good reset, and now they can focus on winning the division. And another little fact that I looked up, they have only lost 2 in a row once in the last 2 years. So I'm going to have to go with the Eagles getting the points in this game.
Yeah, it's a good point. Eagles, these last 2 years of playing good football, they haven't lost 2 in a row. You're right. The Cowboys need to show up on with the Cowboys win, they'll tie the Eagles, right? They both have 10. There'll be a 2-game swing the last couple of weeks. So it'll be very interesting how this one turns out. If the Cowboys can't win at home against the Eagles, then all of the analysts that show up on ESPN and on Fox that always say the Cowboys can't beat a tough team, they'll be proven right on this week. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, it'll be a good game to watch. I think that one, as well as the Kansas City and Bills game, those are going to be some 2 of the probably the better games this weekend to watch. Alma did send in a bonus pick. She is going with the Saturday game, the Army-Navy game. She is taking Navy plus 2.5. I think I'm going to go with her on this one. Our dad was in the Navy. There's no analytical stuff behind this pick. It's just we're going with Navy. Our dad was in the Navy. But you know what? I did go to an Army-Navy game a few years ago. Oh my gosh, that was such an exciting game. They played in the Meadowlands. It was like 18 degrees. It was so cold, but you didn't even feel it once you were in the stadium. It was so exciting, and I don't even remember who won, Army or Navy, but it was really exciting. So that's a good game to go to.
Well, you know what? I'll go with Navy also. I'll stick with you guys on this one. And, you know, that is a bucket list game for me before I leave this earth. I hope I can make that game. There's the pageantry involved in that game. Did it used to be played in Philadelphia? Didn't they play there? Or
yes, yeah. And then
now they moved it to New York now?
Yeah, moved it to the Meadowlands, and I think they're still playing in the Meadowlands. I'm gonna say that they are. I might be wrong. Our listeners can correct me on that, but I'm pretty sure that they still play in the Meadowlands, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, well, I've got several bucket list college games that I want to go to. That is one of them. Every time I just take a glance at it on TV or watch it at least for an hour or so, it's always a competitive game. The fans are involved. The cadets are always involved in the game. So, yeah. I'll go with Navy. I'll go with you guys on this one.
All right. And you can feel the energy. It's crazy, but you can really feel the energy in that game. So, well, if you have made it to this point in our podcast, we just want to thank you for listening to 5 Picks and a Chick. Be sure to tell your friends about us. Also, hit the subscribe and like button on our YouTube channel at 5 Picks and a Chick. You can also find us wherever you get your favorite podcast or ask Alexa to play 5 Picks and a Chick. Thank you for Alma for giving us her pick, even though she couldn't be with us to record. We did miss her. Make sure to join us next week. Big Zay will be our guest picker next week. And as always, thank you to El Gato for being part of 5 Picks and a Chick. 1, 2, 3, break.
Break. All right.